So let me tell you about the time I was a janitor at the high school. It was hard. I'll tell you that for one thing. Because everybody laughed at me all the time. Because I wore the same clothes, but that's the only sticking clothes they provided me. So, because I was homeless, and they called me useless. And I worked 10-4 all day long for them, 12 hours a day. And guess what? They provided me with a suit, and they provided, the suit was the nice clothes I could wear places, and then they provided me a Young and McQueen's worker vest, and that was awful, because, I mean, that's all they provided me, and I slept in a box. Oh, it was killing me. I thought I saw it one night. I was sitting in that box, and I was like getting real freaked out about it because I thought I saw it, and I know he's not real, but I've seen the movie. It was awful. But guess what? It turned out to be one of the high school nerds going to steal the answer key for his thing, and I wasn't going to hesitate to catch him. I locked him in the men's bathroom, and he might as well just pay for what he'd done. So I was going to scare the daylights out of his head, and he wasn't going to live that night. And sadly, he didn't live that night. So the thing that I did is I took my box, I climbed up in the vents, and I opened the ventilator, and I lowered my box down, and inside of it was the It pop-up jack-o'-lantern. It was super creepy looking. I got it for Easter. As a janitor, I lived at a high school, but they gave me that anyway. But I lowered it down on that one piece of thread, and he was still in the bathroom. He was crying because he was sorry for what he did, of course, and I kind of felt bad. But I wasn't going to feel bad for long. I lowered it down, and he saw the box. He said, and he went, and he climbed up until he hit the side of the locker, and he was squeezing it so tight, the locker was like this, and it bent, and he went inside the locker, and the metal sliced his back, and he was bleeding really bad, and he was still in shock looking at it, and the box came closer to him as I walked it closer and closer, and it got to him, and his face was pale and white, as whiter than a sheet. It was whiter than the sun. And well enough, it makes it look like, well, you could say white as the moon, but it was really white, pasty white, pale white, prune white. You high school nerds ain't had any prunes. Oh my gosh, prunes are so good. Oh man, you ought to try one. Oh man, but if you did try one, you'd probably just start crying like a baby. You guys act like a bunch of stinking 2-year-olds. At school, technically. I mean, I never made it past the 3rd grade because I was the one that always played the pranks. I used to be the jerk, but then I started working as the janitor. I mean, I only went to trade school for half a month. Lowering that box and lowering, and he was pushing deeper and deeper into that locker. And I opened the hatch. And out came the jack-o'-lantern It face. And he went... But he still looked like he was breathing. So I had to kind of finish him off. I took the box, and the It thing was so heavy it weighed maybe 100 pounds. I dropped it on his pinky toe, and it smushed it, and he went, and he still wasn't quite punished enough, I thought. So finally, I took my lucky, handy plunger. I swung it hard as I could out of that roof, and it stuck right on that big ball of hair on top of his head. And he pushed his hat down, and he went, and that did it. My plunger always did it. I mean, I should have done that in the first place, but anyway, I climbed down, and I saw the blood all over the floor, but it wasn't blood. It was ketchup. And I'm like, oh no, something's not right. Something's wrong. The lights just turned off. Everything was dark. And I was getting so freaked out, I wanted to scream, and then I started crying, then my nostrils just started exploding. That door going. And then, right off the earth, right off the fringe, right off the fringes, right off the hinges, not the fringes, it was the fringe, right off its fringes, great, hinges, I'm supposed to know that, I'm a gender, but anyway, the doors were flung in the floor, the guy was still dead next to me, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, who goes there? The atrocious sound, it was unbelievable. I can actually partially probably do it myself. I was so scared. It sounded like this. But then, I was so scared of something like this. I grabbed my foot. Now I felt a little bit of pain. And then I looked down and my leg was no more. And whenever it started rising up and my DNA started blowing apart and started going like this. But anyway, that's technically what happened. I mean, I finally got away, but I had to get that peg leg. I had to get a wooden peg leg. And when they were putting the peg leg on me, it sounded like this. It turned out it's just a bull that got to school. That nerd kid left the door open. But the nerd kid technically was a robot. And just, one of them schoolers was probably remote controlling it. But anyway, there's plenty of cool. But I'll see you next time, guys. And that's one story more. You're going to get a story that's even better where I burnt the house down with an air fryer. Take it out, Charlie!